Hey guys, it's Ansley and welcome back for another video. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because today we're gonna do something that I haven't done in a long time. I did a video a long time ago about this sort of thing, but you know, the cringe factor was a little too much for me, so I wanted to do a better video about it with my newfound knowledge and everything. So in this video today, guys, we're gonna talk all about tarot. I've been reading tarot cards for probably about, I think, 9 or 10 years now. It's been a long time. And so I've learned a lot of things over the years, and I want to share it with you because I know not everybody knows where to start or what it is or how it works or, you know, how to do it at all. So in this video, we're going to start a series of talking about tarot cards. And in this particular video, we're going to go over the basics of it, a general overview of what it is, how it works, how your intuition comes into play, reversed and upright cards, the different suits, all that kind of thing, and then a few spreads that I would recommend. So I'm running out of breath here. With that said, I'm so excited. This is going to be an awesome video, and this is a great video to watch for beginners or even experienced witches or spiritual people, whatever you define yourself as. And without further ado, let's get into the video and start talking all things tarot. First of all, right off the bat, reading tarot cards is totally unique to the individual, and so you may watch a million different videos about tarot readings and the guide to tarot readings, and they will be different because everyone has their own experience and their own way of doing it. So with that said, this is going to be my way of doing it and my personal understanding of the tarot cards, although it may be different to someone else's. Alright, in my personal definition, tarot cards are a great way to delve into energy readings of the past, present, and future. In my experience, tarot cards help you to understand why things happen in your life. They give you a deeper perspective into things that happened in your past, how it has influenced your present, and how it will influence your future. And it also tells you about your present choices and how they will guide you in your future if you choose to go with them and make no changes with the current path and the current choices you are aligned with. The majority of people use tarot as a way to read the future. But in my perspective of it, you're channeling energy and connecting to the flow of the path that you're on. So this is how you can see what events may be coming up in your future. And also when you read tarot cards, you're connecting to your higher self, your intuition, that inner voice. Our intuition or spirit guides also are trying to get our attention all the time with the little things, and oftentimes we're so clouded in our head with all the stresses of everyday life, and we don't normally see these signs. So when you take the time to really focus on the cards, you're getting those messages directly. And that's how it can help you to predict the future, as you can see where you're currently headed with the energies you're aligned with and so forth. Tarot cards are typically in the form of a 78 card deck, and they are split into two sections, and that is the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. Major Arcana consists of 22 cards, while the Minor Arcana consists of 56 cards. And so basically, when we have these split, the Major Arcana are kind of like the bigger cards, the ones that predict bigger events, and they're more significant, and usually there's a lot more energy association with it. And these are basically the cards, if they show up in a reading, you really want to pay attention to the message they're giving you and the vibe that you get from it. Not to say that the Minor Arcana is not important, it definitely is, but these are the more low-level energy cards. They can show you things in your life, but they aren't as significant as these bigger events as shown in the Major Arcana. The Minor Arcana is also split into 4 suits, and there's 14 cards in each suit, and the suits are the Cups, the Pentacles, the Wands, and the Swords. And these suits all resonate with different energies. For example, the Cups have to do with water, so it's typically linked with emotion, just like the element in, you know, the zodiac or in horoscopes or just in magical practices. Water has to do with intuition, it has to do with emotions, wisdom, healing, all that kind of stuff, while the suit of wands is linked with fire, and this represents an unpredictable, more chaotic, passionate kind of energy, which is typically related to our creativity, our determination, our ambition, all this kind of thing. So each suit has a different element going on, and that majorly influences what those cards mean. And that's what differentiates from getting a 5 of Cups compared to a 5 of Wands, is the elements have a huge influence on it, and that majorly influences the energy that you get through and can help you better understand how it aligns with a different sector of your life. Now, a lot of people are really afraid of tarot cards, and if you are, definitely don't get into them if it's your first time. wanting to experiment with cards, don't get into them until you're feeling very grounded and confident. Just like any other magical practice or witch practice that you may do, you have to be in the right state of mind and the right energy in order to successfully do it. Otherwise you're going to draw in negative energy. So just as you would do divination with a pendulum, you don't want to do that with negative energy because you project that into the object and therefore negative energy will come back. It's like attracts like, the energy you send out is the energy that comes back to you. With that said, you want to make sure you're in the right state of mind ahead of time, so if you are afraid, definitely take your time getting into it. There's no rush. And you just want to be confident in what you're doing, so it's good to read up on tarot a little bit more. Maybe look up videos of people reading tarot just so you get an understanding of it better, so you know that it's not a scary thing, it's nothing to be afraid of, and it's actually just a wonderful tool of divination, just as scrying is, or gazing into clouds or water, or tasseography, or using a pendulum. It's no different, as those are all a beautiful form of reading energy and predicting things and reading our own energy and getting messages from our higher selves and our spirit guides and things that we need to look out for. And so it really is the same thing. You just want to make sure you're at a good energy level. And I say this because, trust me, if you do it when you're feeling sad or angry, that's going to be reflected in your tarot cards. Not only can that energy come back to you in a very intense and negative form, but it can also make you miss the meaning behind cards that may pop up in your reading, and it can make you misinterpret them and then therefore lead you astray from what you're trying to connect with and what you're trying to read, and can give you a totally different perspective to a situation you may be wondering about. With that said, when you read tarot cards, there's two different ways these cards will appear to you, and that is upright and reversed. And basically the most simple way of describing this is when you pull a card, it will either appear upright where you can read it normally, or it will be upside down. A lot of people think this is a negative thing, but it's really not. It just gives you a different perspective to something going on in that situation. And so, for example, if you get a card that upright is generally about love and abundance and happiness, you may get that card reversed, and it could mean heartbreak. It could mean a lack of abundance. It could be, you need to grow here. And some of the cards upright are better received reverse, as they have a more positive meaning reverse. And so it's important to pay attention to these things when you're reading, because even the slightest change like that makes all the difference. And basically the upright meaning, when it's reversed, it's basically the opposite meaning of what you got upright. Now, along with the upright and reversed meaning, the best thing about tarot decks nowadays is they have a little book most of the time that tells you the meaning behind the cards. But these are pretty generic, and so what I wanted to say is, when you do a tarot reading, of course read what's in the book, but always go off of what you feel though. You could be reading cards and it could tell you, this card has to do with abundance, but maybe you're feeling like more has to do with something completely different. If that's the case, that may be the meaning of the card for you, and you should always trust your intuition over the book, because the book is more of a generic kind of energy associated with the card as opposed to what you feel. Your intuition is the kind of thing where you can't shake it. It's there and it's telling you like, hey, this is the message. So if that's going on, there's definitely that message in that card for you for some reason, and it's coming through in this card or this reading for that reason. Maybe it couldn't get through to you a different way. Whatever it is, you gotta listen to it. Your intuition is there to help you, as opposed to the generic reading, as that can help you, but nothing is more powerful than your intuition, as it's always got your back. Okay, next, what I also wanted to mention is to spend some time with your deck. And, take it out to dinner, get to know it. Take your time getting to know the card's personality. Basically what I mean is you want to get to know your cards, because, oh my gosh, it makes all the difference when it comes to reading energy, guys, let me tell you. I have a pretty good collection of different card decks, and I adore them so much, but there are different card decks that I connect to more than the others. For example, there is one that is my go-to deck, always 100%. I have experimented with other decks before, but they've never been as energetic or strong or accurate for me as that single deck, and it's because I've spent the most time getting to know that deck and working with it. And so basically that just means you want to take time consecrating the energy into the deck, spend time shuffling it, spend time using that deck the most, because that's going to help you have more accurate readings rather than jumping from deck to deck. Of course, you can use different decks and try out different things, but I think you'll find that there is one deck that will always be the one you go back to because it's just more powerful and more accurate, and just you feel more grounded and happy and more connected when you work with it. And so for this, you definitely want to try and focus your energy on one deck in particular, even if you have a large collection. Take more time to spend with this one. Try it with a daily card reading just to get the energy connected with you, just so you align better. It's just like with your crystals and stuff like that. You want to cleanse them when you get them, and then you want to spend time with the crystal, putting your own energy into it and just wearing it or carrying it in your pocket just so you can get to know it a little bit better and have it align more intimately with your energy. Also, what goes along with that is you don't want other people to use your deck. You can read cards for other people, but definitely you don't want someone else handling your deck and reading the cards for you. They should have their own deck when they do that, just because a tarot deck is very intimately aligned with your energy and the energy of the user. And so when you hand it to someone else, it's going to connect to their energy a lot and align with them more. And even if you cleanse it, I've personally found, like, you do whatever you want, but I've personally found when I've let anybody handle my decks when I was first doing this, the energy was never quite the same because it always had some part of their energy into it, and it wasn't just with me. Kind of like a relationship. You want to have that intimate connection between you guys and not necessarily share it with everyone else, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to, you do you. Like I said, I can only tell you based on my experiences, so this is just something that's happened for me. With that said, moving on to the next thing, you want to make sure you cleanse your cards. I hear people talk about tarot readings all the time. I have all these friends that do tarot readings and it's great, but I haven't found somebody that regularly cleanses their deck, and you definitely should. And by regularly, I mean every time you use that deck, you should definitely cleanse it. If you don't want to sage it or whatever way you cleanse it, that's fine. A simple way to cleanse your deck that I've learned is to just hold it in your hand and blow on it, your intention of cleansing it, and just turn it around. Make sure you get all angles of it. This is just a really quick way to cleanse your deck if it's not a full moon or you don't want to do, big involved cleansing. Just blowing on it and sending that white light energy on there to cleanse it of energy from the use and make it ready for the next use is so important, because you could have a tarot reading one day where it predicts something, relatively on the lower vibrational wavelength, where it's more negative and it's maybe not a situation you're too excited about. And so you want to get rid of that before you use it so you can have a more authentic sort of reading towards what's going on with you this day as opposed to the other day, as energy is constantly shifting with the choices we make, the things we're doing in our lives, the people we're around, all that kind of stuff. Our energy is always changing. So you definitely want to cleanse your deck in between uses, because you don't want to carry any energy over from your last reading into your current one, as that can throw off the accuracy of what's going on with your energy currently. Now, if you want to get into reading the deck, a little basis of something to do for reading cards is there's basically two different kinds of readings. There's 1,000,001 spreads in the world that you can do for your tarot, and you can come up with your own if you want as well. But when it comes to readings, you're basically either looking for a general overview or guidance on some area of your life, a guidance on a relationship, a job, a career, a question you have, or just a, hey, what's going on in my life, anything I need to pay attention to kind of vibe. There's so many different ways to use tarot cards, and that's what makes them so special, is it's you. It's uniquely based around you and your energy and, your perception of things, so it's a really cool experience and a really great way to get to know your inner self and the energies around you and your intuition and all of that. Okay, and I know I'm gonna do a different video about the spreads and everything, but the way I want to talk about shuffling and reading the cards, this is something that everybody does entirely different. Like, I'm not even kidding. I've never seen one person do this exactly the same. And so when it comes to reading your cards and getting ready, we talked about how these cards are majorly influenced by your energy and your intention, just as any other spiritual kind of item is. And honestly, I even do it differently depending on what I'm feeling. So when you get a deck out and you're ready to do the cards, you want to hold it in your hand and just take as much time as you need, whether it's 10 seconds or 10 minutes. Send in the energy of what you want to know. So if it's a certain question, send that question into the cards, hold it in your head, send the energy down your arms, into your hands, and into those cards. And when you fully feel like you've put as much energy as you can in there, then you're ready to read your cards. And so then at that point you want to start shuffling them. Everyone does this differently, and for me, honestly, I'll shuffle the deck over and over thinking of that question, and I'll pull out random cards out of that deck. I'll touch each one of them quickly and move them through, and then I may feel pulled to one. I'll pull that out. I'll keep going. If there's another one I feel pulled to, I'll pull that out too. And then I'll set them down into the certain number I need for that spread, but also sometimes I make my own spread. I've read cards for a lot of family members and a lot of friends, and sometimes like they want a 3-card reading and I'm pulling cards, but then I feel like they don't need 3, they need 5. And so I'll keep pulling them until I feel like there's no more cards that I need to be pulling at this current time, and then I will stop. Another way that I also pull the cards is after I'm done with them and I cleanse them and I close my session. I'll shuffle the cards back together so it's all mixed up, put them back in the box, and then I will put them away, and the next time I feel pulled to the deck, sometimes I feel like the cards I need are directly on top and everything's already been mixed from the last session, and so then I'll just pull the top cards and go from there. And a lot of times that works too. Once again, this is a kind of situation where you let your intuition guide you. Sometimes I'm drawn to this reading, other times I need to shuffle through the deck and pull cards out in order to feel like these are the right ones that I need to be using. So honestly, whatever way you want to do this is awesome. It's really about you. You gotta find your own technique, and you will with practice. You can use these as a basis, as a guideline, and they may work out perfectly for you, but over time you may find that there's a better way for you to do it personally. Like I said, it's all about your own unique energy. And lastly, I know I've said it a million times in this video, but tarot will guide you to the answers you need. Even if you're not doing a reading about a certain thing, tarot may have a different thing in mind. It definitely has a personality of its own, and it's not afraid to call you out and tell you what you don't want to hear. I always say that, you know, we don't read the cards read us. Tarot is very accurate for me. In my personal experience, it has been very spot on every time I've used it, and it is truly crazy, but to get to that point, you really gotta take time to connect with it and get to know it and start practicing with it. And so what I would recommend for you guys if you're looking to get started with tarot is to simply start by doing a 1-card reading a day or a week. And basically that's just going to be holding your deck and just do a simple thought of, what do I need to know today? What do I need guidance with today? And send that energy into the card when you read it, and then pull it and see what meaning you can draw from that card. Jot it down in a notebook and see how it connects with the week that you did have, if it was accurate or not. And if it's not, it's okay. It just takes time. I was not pulling completely accurate cards from the beginning either. Like I said, the more you work with it, the more accurate and authentic it will be. So just patience. It's like any other spiritual practice, like meditation. You weren't an expert in the beginning, but over time you can get much better, and it can feel much more fulfilling and more authentic in your world and with your life and everything going on with that. I hope this has given you guys some guidance. Obviously there's a lot of things to know about tarot, but this is just the way that I would do an overview of it. And I will continue this series talking about the suits and the different cards, the major and minor arcana, some spreads that I would recommend trying out, and some popular ones, and so forth. So yeah, just let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!